So in these word problems, it's basically going to come down to what we just were doing in terms of solving a right triangle. That's all it is. It's just a fancy way of doing that. So I wrote one out here for us to look at. It says a 12-foot ladder is leaning against a house. How far will the ladder reach up the house if the angle of elevation the ladder makes is 64 degrees? So I always like to draw a picture. Sometimes you're lucky and Alex actually draws the picture for you. But so here's my house, and there's a ladder, and the ladder is leaning up against the house. And they tell me that that ladder is 12 feet long. And so it says, how far will the ladder reach up the house? So we're talking about this distance here. How high up that house will the ladder be? So we'll call that question mark. If the angle of elevation, so the angle of elevation is the angle when you're looking up. So that would be this angle here. And so they're telling me that angle is 64 degrees. So what I need to do is, if you look, I have here a right triangle. I know the hypotenuse. I know this angle 64, and I'm interested in the side opposite. So I'm looking for a way to relate opposite, hypotenuse, and the angle. And so that's to use the sine function. So we're looking at the sine of theta is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So in this case, that's saying that the sine of 64 degrees is equal to the opposite. We don't know what that is, so why don't we just call it x. X over the hypotenuse, 12. And then what we have to do is we just have to solve for x. So 12 sine 64 degrees equals x. And if we plug that into our calculator, x turns out to be roughly 10.7. So it goes up the house roughly 10.7